Yeah, despite being a difference of between 14th and 19th in terms of seeds, their rank on speedrun is much different, where Chubaloe is 34 and MrCab is 78.
So our runners are just about ready to kick this one off.
It looks like MrCab's timer may have started at a weird time there.
It could have been out of sync there, but already seeing a slight difference in terms of strats. MrCab going for the early power-up. Chubaloe is going to play this as Small Mario throughout the entire stage and pick up the power-ups in Tree Zone 1 and 2.
Now, one of the what we just saw there over the piranha plant was both Chubaloe and MrCab attempting a super jump, which is where you release the jump button between 21 and 26 frames. You can jump up to an entire tile higher. Chubaloe had got the super jump, so he didn't fall between the little hill and the pipe. MrCab did not get it, unfortunately.
In terms of the routing here, it's going to be identical for both players. The route itself is pretty well set in stone, and there's really no room for different interpretations. Like, the only possible difference for runners, and I think it would have to depend on the circumstances, somebody might do Mario Zone instead of Turtle Zone 5th, but generally they're going to play the same route.
Yeah, the route has been basically optimized for power-ups. As Pro, I said, the only difference you might see is a runner go to Mario Zone before Turtle Zone. However, the only reason the runners would do that is if they lost the carrot at the end of Pumpkin Zone. So they'll go play Mario 1 first, pick up the carrot at the end, and then go back down to Turtle Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm familiar with, having done it in 2 marathons now.
Well, it's good to have the backup. Chubaloe and MrCab both in Tree Zone 2. A lot of nice little bits of movement here. You have to sort of optimize. It's a nice bit of platforming and the execution of the stage.
All right, so Chubaloe here, you see him taking damage to go through those spikes. MrCab has to go over them because they both had a fire flower. MrCab lost it, unfortunately, just before. But losing it there, you want to stay big when you get down to this bottom section. As you can see, both runners will do a spin jump on top of the pipe, kind of unique to Super Mario Land 2, to pick up the carrot power-up, which is also unique to this game, which allows them to flutter almost indefinitely if they flutter fast enough. There is a little choice in route where you can go to either Tree 3 or Tree 4. Both runners will go to the left and take Tree 4 because it is a much shorter and much easier level. You see Chubaloe here jumping up to those platforms. That does require a super jump. You can notice here MrCab just a little low, so he won't hit those platforms. Ideally, when you hit those, you'll want to duck. That if you duck long enough, you will despawn those flying. The enemies called are B, even though they aren't actual bees. It's just BE. You'll despawn them because they cause quite a bit of lag.
So MrCab, even without his correctly executed super jump, does a fine job getting through the stage. Didn't quite get the bounce there off of the Paragoombas. Chubaloe taking a little bit of a caution there to get his fire flower.
There's a few different interpretations, variations on how you get that flower. You'll see Cab here taking the old school route of not grabbing that flower. Just doesn't want to take the risk on it. You'll see some runners do what Chubaloe does. They'll run on top of that block, jump, hit down, and get the fire flower and keep running. Some will do a little hop to go between the blocks, and then go down and to the right to hit it. And when you get to the higher level runners, you'll see them just jump into the block and go down and lose no time. It is rather risky for that, though.
So 417 for Chubaloe getting the coin. MrCab is about just under 20 seconds behind at 4:34. So, but a solid first zone for both players as they get ready to head up to Space Zone.
Yeah, while we get through the bubble level, which is literally just holding A. Chubaloe is a relatively new runner to the game. His PB was within a month ago. I think it was just about a month ago. And he got a 27:12, I believe. So, like, very good time for someone who just got into the game. MrCab's PB, he had one from like 3 years ago, and then he a few weeks ago got a new PB and went down like 5 minutes. So,
yeah, he. This and Mario Land 2, for me, I've been playing this game since it first came out in '92, and it's definitely one of those games you can kind of just pick up and play, and it's a very accessible game, especially if you want to learn how to speed run it. It's one of those games where really, it's just a question of execution.
Yeah, overall difficulty of this game is not very high, notwithstanding the castle at the end, which we'll talk about more when we get there. This level here, you can notice the runners have different physics. They can't run, and they kind of jump and float. We call these moon physics. And it's actually faster to walk on the ground, because when you're in the air, you're locked in at a certain speed that is slower than if you were just running. So most times, you'll see the runners just running through. Cab electing to get a fire flower there. Usually, you just end the level as small. MrCab going a little bit safer and keeping power-ups.
So Chubaloe on Space Zone 2 now, and everybody's favorite song. There we go. And one of 2 auto-scrollers we will be seeing in the Glitchless category. The other is Macro Secret.
Now, there's a third auto-scroller, but thankfully we do not have to play it.
Right.
This is obviously, again, even more different physics than the moon. We call these space physics. The physics for this are exactly like having the bubble. However, you can't get a running start because it's as if you're on the bubble on the ground. So
we're taking a little damage there, but gets his fire flower right back. So Chubaloe is about halfway done with this stage. MrCab is up about a quarter of the way through right now. Still relatively close between our runners. See how they handle Tatanga and what that will mean for their potential macro zone start.
Yeah, most common route through this level is to stay at the top. Chuba taking a slightly different approach to that. Slightly riskier, but again, it's an auto-scroller and there's not a lot of obstacles. With regards to the Tatanga fight, which we'll be seeing very shortly, runners are going to be shooting fireballs and going right at him, and very likely, almost always will take some damage. Whether or not they get hit twice and are small out of this is a different question.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if MrCab goes with the strat I go with, which is kind of just wait out as a barrage and then just go for 3 hits. Preserve Fire Mario.
Yeah, that would not a very surprising way. So Chuba going with this is what we call a decent kill. Getting a couple fireballs in and then stomping on him twice and not getting hit the second time. That is a pretty strong way to get out of this level. You can get a sub 27 by doing that without going for like a ridiculously fast 1 cycle, which is very difficult.
So 848 for the coin for Chubaloe. MrCab is going for a more conservative strat. Take 3, and there he goes. So nicely done by MrCab. He'll be about 35 seconds behind or so, but still very much in this fight as we go to our 3rd zone, Macro Zone, my personal favorite zone of the game.
It's a very fun zone. This level, in particular, you have to have a fire flower because we want to get to the secret exit, and you have to have fire for that. There is one right there where Chubaloe gets it. There are many different ways to actually get to that block to break it. I prefer to just jump at the last coin with a full jump, and I land right on it you land on it every time. But once we get past these stairs, there's going to be some blocks blocking a pipe at the top of the screen. And that is what, when the runners break that, they'll be able to access the secret. You can get both those blocks in one jump. It's just very tight timing.
Definitely one of those more advanced strats. So the other thing we're going to be keeping an eye on is their kill count. Because at 100 kills, you get a free star, and our runners are going to be trying to time this so they get to 99 by the time they get to Wario's castle. Right now, Chubaloe is at 46, MrCab is at 41, so they're right about in line with where they want to be.
The Cab's probably got at least 3 to 4 more kills here to end this level, even. I think one of the goals that a lot of runners look for is being between like 80 and 82 at the end of Pumpkin Zone. And if you're thinking, wow, we're only halfway there, and Pumpkin Zone will be the next zone, Pumpkin 1 and Pumpkin 2 have a lot of enemies.
Yeah. Yeah. Pumpkin 1, Pumpkin 2, and even early Pumpkin 4, you can pick up a couple of quick ones before you get the carrot. But yeah, Turtle Zone doesn't really have a lot for you, and Mario Zone, not that so much either.
There's definitely more. Like Mario Zone has enough that you can definitely change up your route ever so slightly to catch up if you need to. Alright, so this level it is a pretty technical level to get through. There's some conveyor belts here with spikes at the end, so you got to be careful jumping out of that. That was a good jump by Chubaloe. The enemy coming up is going to be the rat, which they definitely want to have a fire flower for. You can quick kill the rat by doing either a small hop or just walking forward ever so slightly and just spamming fireballs as fast as you can.
Cab had to kind of take a little bit of a safety jump there to get to the end of Macro's secret, but he's through and is in Macro finale. Nice quick kill there by Chubaloe to take down the rat.
Yeah, that was a well-executed walk forward and spam fireballs at him. See MrCab taking a little bit of a left as he jumps to get past those spikes. That's also fairly common. The other way to do it is to just let go of the run button when you get to the very end and then jump.
12-18 for Chubaloe at the halfway mark for the coins. MrCab looks like, ooh, he takes a hit. That's unfortunate. So it's going to be a slightly longer fight for him.
If he gets a jump in, though, he can jump 3 times on this rat before it goes back into the pipe. Oh no,
that's bad. That's going to put him behind the 8 ball as far as his power-up situation. He's not going to be able to get a lot of kills on the enemies here in Pumpkin 1. He finally takes care of the rat, but that was oh dear, saying phew, like no kidding. That was a bit of a high wire act.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of runners really know the rat's pattern after 1 or 2 because it usually doesn't go that long. But yeah, being small out of Macro Zone is not good. There is a block right at the beginning of Pumpkin 1 that's only going to get him to Big Mario. You really want to be fire because there are a lot of enemies and they cause a lot of lag in Pumpkin 1 especially.
He's opting to go small here. So he's going to try and brute force his way through this.
That last jump under the spike, yeah, that's the hardest one.
Nice. He's going to go with the carrot and glide his way through. Fair enough. Chubaloe is almost through Pumpkin 2.
He's also without his fire flower. He got a little tripped up in the pipes with the ghost, with the booze.
Fortunate, but he carries on. He's at 82 right now. He should probably be about 85 or so by the time he gets to out of a Pumpkin Zone.
I think 80 to
Really?
82 is usually what we're looking for. 85 if you want to be real safe, but he can finish Pumpkin Zone with killing no enemies and be just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really no enemies to kill in Pumpkin 3 anyways, apart from that piranha plant coming up in a minute here. Other than that, it's, you know, it's strictly platforming.
Yeah, jumping over that piranha plant, you either want to do a super jump from the top platform or do what Chubaloe did and jump down onto the intermediate platform, and then you can just full jump over them.
Yeah, I think that's what I think I favor the second approach myself. Just kind of carry that momentum.
Yeah, so you've seen in Mario or Pumpkin 2 some instances of water. Just to quickly touch on swimming speeds, there's actually a quote good speed and a bad speed. Essentially, you're either moving 7 pixels for every 8 frames or 8 pixels every 8 frames, and that one extra pixel adds up very quickly. Especially in Turtle Zone 2 when you have a lot of water, you can start losing a second or two if you're not paying attention.
So, Chubaloe is just about done here with Pumpkin Zone 4, and we come to the Witch, who has a bit of RNG as far as patterns. We have the good patterns and bad patterns.
Yeah, what Chubaloe's looking for here is a left, right, left. And you see he goes to the left immediately. So, with any luck, the Witch will immediately go to the right. And it does. So, one more, hopefully back to the left. Chubaloe get a pretty quick kill. Right, and sometimes RNG's on your side.
Times. So, that's 4 down for Chubaloe. MrCab is about a stage and a little bit extra behind, so probably about a minute.
Yeah, so Chubaloe, as we mentioned before, is going to bypass Mario Zone to go all the way down to Turtle Zone, and he is going to flutter over an entire level, as we like to call it, cramps, because it is a lot of mashing.
Yeah, it's a lot of execution, and even if you're not the best masher, I'm not, for example, you know, if you're just good enough, you can get through this pretty painlessly.
Yeah, I've got bad wrists, so I try to fall onto a question block towards the end and then do one last magic, which looks like Chubaloe is probably going to be doing right here, that power-up block, and then you can get over. You'll see there's one ledge higher than all the rest, and then we're just going to float under the bell into the goal.
MrCab looks like he's got a left-right so far, and also gets the left-right-left, although not quite the same approach, but nonetheless effective. And he is now 4 zones down.
Yeah, so you see Chubaloe swimming through here. That last segment, he had fast swimming speed, in case you try to spot the difference. If you walk off of a platform in water, you'll have fast swimming speed. That's one way to always have it. The other way is to reset your swimming speed is to either touch the ground or come out of the water. The swimming speed is all determined on which frame you start holding right.
A little trouble with the stairs and those Koopa Troopas, but managed to power through. MrCab is being playing a little safer here during his overhead jaunt.
Yeah, as noted in chat, both these runners are on pretty good paces for themselves relative to their PBs.
Oh, for sure. You know, MrCab had 1 or 2 hiccups with Macro Zone at the end there, but overall, in terms of his overall execution, he's been pretty on point throughout. Chubaloe taking a couple of damage boosts there to get out of Turtle 2. See how MrCab decides to play it. We now head into Monstro.
Yeah, it's very common for runners to take damage on those two because it saves a lot of time, and as you can see right here, you get a carrot at the very beginning. And if you time it right, as Chubaloe just said, that was flawless. You can if you don't hit your head on the ceiling as you fall, you can have just enough iframes to get through the one scuba diver there at the end. I think their names are Aqua Caribos. I learned all the names when I was making the randomizer for this, but I don't remember most of them now. Chubaloe coming up to the enemy here for the boss here for Turtle 3 is an octopus that spawns little octopi, and you just gotta spam your fireballs, hopefully before he shoots any out.
Yeah, no problem for Chubaloe. Got at point blank and just fired away. So looking at about a 2011 with 5 zones. MrCab is about a stage and a quarter or so. He's probably about 90 seconds to 2 minutes behind right now, give or take. So he was 75 seconds back out of pumpkins. So, but he's still playing pretty well.
Yeah, MrCab electing to keep a power-up on his way out of there. It does give you a little insurance in case that happens, as it just did, or you can actually spin jump on the block. Again, it's a little slower at the end of Turtle 2, but I mean, sometimes you want that safety.
Yeah, that opening jump in Turtle 3 is kind of dicey. You miss it, you're in...
small coming out of here. Usually you want to have a power up, unless it's going to grab the carrot. Nope, he's just going to go small. Mario 2 is a bit tricky if you're small. You got to be careful on a lot of these jumps.
That opening section, got to be careful. Once you're past that, you should be okay. So Chubaloe is at 90 kills, incidentally.
Yeah, you want to be around 92, 93 after Mario 3. So he only wants to kill a couple enemies between here and the last level of the zone. Yeah, you'll notice there as small Mario, Chubaloe is just kind of brushing against some of the platforms there. Those jumps are very tight if you want to maintain running speed through that whole thing as small Mario. Generally, if you're playing this and you start as big Mario, you'll just take some damage there and keep going.
So about a 2140 for MrCab. So yeah, about 90 seconds back going into Mario Zone, which has a lot of, which I think was mentioned as a lot of technical jumps and execution. A lot of you end up doing stuff like that by mistake, and it can take a few seconds to get back on the wagon.
Yeah, ideally you want to get up to that pipe at like 390 in game time, and some MrCab at 380. But the 390 requires you to get a 2-frame pixel jump at the very beginning as well. And there's another one at the end you can save, a small amount of time if you get as well.
Chubaloe is opting to ignore the enemies. I think he took a little more damage than he had intended, but gets power up back. There it is.
Yeah, it's beneficial to have some sort of power-up when you're in that level. That way you can jump onto the spikes without any trouble. Getting out of there as small Mario is doable, but not terribly easy.
Chubaloe is, I think, is opting to take a few safety plays here just to get himself in good position. MrCab is at 72 enemy kills, so he's probably not going to go for the star here. For Wario, which is fine, and you can do it without it, it's just going to be slower.
Yeah, it costs approximately 2 seconds, but you don't have to, generally you don't have to go out of your way to route kills. If you just build it into your normal route, it's not anything super different. It's the only time you don't get it is, like for MrCab, you take some damage in places you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Chubaloe is at 99 on the nose, and will now take on the 3 little pigs.
Now, the first pig is the hardest pig. You gotta generally want to hold left and up and jump all at the same time, and then just, as soon as you can, turn around and start shooting fireballs. Pig 2 and 3, you just want to wait till they hit the ground to kill them as fast as possible. It's actually fastest to just kill those 2 when they're at ground level.
Marks 6 coins for Chubaloe at 24.15. So again, his PB is 27.12. close, I think. It's going to be close.
Yeah, a 3-minute castle time is pretty good. If he gets, I think, a 768 or 770, by the time he gets to that pipe, he could PB. But he's got to have a very good castle.
His execution has... he had a few hiccups in Mario Zone, but nothing too detrimental, so it is definitely in the cards if everything goes his way. Potential damage boost right away.
Yeah, that jump there at the end, that's a new route we've been doing for a couple months now in the castle. If you run off that last Piranha Fireball, you can just land and immediately jump and get over that spike. Alright, jumping against the wall here is to make that platform ahead spawn a little quicker, so a little dicey, but he got there.
Yeah, it's like that was pretty close. Now we come to my least favorite room in the game, and last night proved it in my race, but
yeah, it's not the easiest. The first one, not so bad. The second one, you can run across, you can jump onto one platform, run to the second, and the last set, if you jump onto the first one, you can just do a full jump to the second one. All right, MrCab, let's see if he can get this last one real fast. No, the last one was a good kill. Alright, so one thing we're going to keep an eye on here for Chubaloe is he wants to end phase 1. So you see the star there, so we can get through these phases very quickly. What we're going to be looking for at the end of phase 1, we want to have the timer end in 0, 4, or 8 to set up a fast second cycle of Wario. Alright, we've got chat letting us know that maybe not a 68 at this point, and it does look like he's going to be aiming for 64. Oh, he ran forward anyways. Okay, so we're going to see Wario's not going to come down immediately. He's going to come down at a different place. It's something very easy if you're in a race to just think, I got to go fast, and you don't look at the timer at that point.
Yeah, so, again, really close.
And time is going to be on the third hit of Wario.
Got it.
Right, and actually, that is a PB.
2709. Get out the GGs for Chubaloe. And now the question is, are we going to get a double? MrCab, the coin landed for MrCab at 2615 by my count, so it's very doable.
Yeah, also you saw the runners at the very beginning of this room make some big jumps. MrCab taking some dicey jumps there. There are blocks that activate little falling fist from the ceiling, so jumping over those just to make sure it doesn't get activated. But yeah, MrCab is definitely on sub 30 pace. His PB is 30-20, so as long as he stays clean through this end here, we'll be good.
The faces could be unpleasant. It gets to round 1. It's rounds 2 and 3 where things can get interesting, but nice job there on round 2.
Yeah, I think round 2 is a little bit harder just because they're slightly higher to start. So, doing great through here.
So, not being the most cooperative, but finally it's put in its place there.
And Cab also running forward immediately, so he got a 731. So again, if it was 0, 4, 8, Wario would fall basically on the left side of that right window in the background, so very quickly.
It worked out pretty well for Mr. Cab there. So now, can he get the sub 30? Gets it. So get out the GGs for Mr. Cab. Finishes at 29:38. A double PB. Yeah, Mr. Cab has broken the sub 30 mark.
GG to both of these runners today for getting PBs.
That was great.
Unsure if we have invites going out for any interviews. But it looks like we have 4 more races coming up in this first round. So there's still a lot more to come. And then we have round 2 where we have the top 8 seeds getting into the action.
Yep. And Chubaloe, who was victorious, will play EIP 25, the 3 seed in the round of 16 in this double elimination tournament.
Yeah, ERP, our lone Japanese runner who, if I'm not mistaken, was doing a race the record or some sort of marathon the other day. And also EIP, Adam Ferrari, and O'Deer will be at AGDQ as well.
Oh. All done remotely, unfortunately, due to circumstances, but still going to be a great time.
Yeah, I think that's the only way we could get O'Deer from Germany and EIP from Japan in AGDQ. So,
well, that's going to be that's going to be one of the highlights, I think, and certainly with this tournament, there's been a lot of activity in the SML2 community the last 4 or 5 months. A lot of interest. A lot of people have picked it up as a speed run. I mean, Chubaloe, certainly, as you indicated, is one of them.
Yeah, I think we owe a lot of thanks to Darbian for, I think, drumming up some interest.
Yeah, and I'll say I was one of those people, too. I was kind of more on the casual side of it, but it was a fun game to learn. It is a fun game to learn, and like I said before, it's a fairly accessible game for people to pick up, and especially if they're familiar with this game, because not a lot. You don't really have to learn a lot of special fancy tricks. It's largely execution based.
Yeah, like the one biggest thing is super jumps, which is just timing, and it's something you can practice and get used to very quickly. And there's also not a ton of them that you need.
Right. So, have a quick peek at the schedule here. So we got other matches coming up in this tournament at 7 p.m. Eastern on this very channel, SpeedGaming 2. We have Spaceman 69 versus Pipack. And then at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, channel TBD, it'll be Electman versus Diamic. So definitely some more some good action coming up for this tournament.
Yeah, Spaceman, kind of originally known for doing one-button speedruns of this game without using run, and he switched over to Glitchless recently. Pipack is a Australian speedrunner, and he did any percent first, just like I did, before switching over to Glitchless. He does not have a PB yet, I don't think.
The great unknown, but I'm sure he's accomplished enough at this game, and will put on a good show.
Looking forward to the rest of the races in this tournament. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Sure, for sure. No, it doesn't look like we're going to get any interviews today, but once again, GG's to both of our runners, Chubaloe and Mr. Cab, for putting on a really good race, and both of them PBing. That's always a treat when you get a double PB. So
yeah, this is a great race overall.
Yeah, and do give our runners a follow. And this was a very good race, and they certainly deserve support. And if you have time, give us a follow as well. We appreciate it, and happy to continue the support of this fine game.
Indeed. So until next time.
All right. So.